Hey there guys, welcome to another episode of the MH Performance Podcast. I'm your host, Miles Harrison, and today guys, we're going to be talking about pre-season because it's just around the corner, and I know a lot of guys probably haven't done some of the work that's probably needed in the off-season. Hopefully you have been doing some work and you've been keeping up those fitness levels up throughout the off-season, but if you haven't, here are some tips for the pre-season ahead. So let's get straight into it. So tip number one there, guys, is reduce training volume. Obviously, within the gym and all that, you're going to be working hard. You've got a lot of time and effort to be allowing yourself to push yourself within the gym, and whether that's intensity, volume, frequency. Obviously, now, with pre-season coming in, you're probably going to be adding 1, 2, maybe even possible 3 training sessions within the week. And unfortunately, when it comes to pre-season, you're just going to be doing a lot of running, aren't you? Like, with some coaches, you'll probably run until you can't run no more. And unfortunately, that means that you probably are going to be sore. You're going to need more recovery. But what you don't want to be doing is stopping training altogether. You want to make sure that you're keeping somewhat of the intensity to kind of the same level, if not a bit higher, but reducing the total amount of volume. Maybe that's just dropping a session. Maybe that's dropping a few more sets. But making sure that you're still able to do high intensity work throughout this pre-season. Tip number 2 is make sure you're increasing your carbohydrates intake. Again, this kind of leads into what I obviously said before. You're going to be doing a lot of running. You're going to be doing a lot more activity, which is going to require a massive amount of energy. And obviously, as we know, carbohydrates is our main source of fuel. So making sure that we're increasing our carbohydrate intake. Key things to obviously know whether you have the right amount when it comes to carbohydrates. Are you feeling fueled, fresh when it comes to coming into sessions? Are you feeling recovered in between your sessions? And also hunger levels as well. If you're massively hungry between sessions, that could be a possible fact that calories are probably a little bit too low, but also carbohydrates are a bit too low as well. So make sure you get those in. Tip number 3 is probably more for people who haven't done much of gym work or any type of work within the off season. I mean, you guys are very much entitled to your rest as much as anyone. And that is to slowly increase running loads. So if you've not done any form of activity, maybe you've done a few 5Ks, 10Ks there and then and stuff like that. What you don't want to be doing is thinking, right, pre-season, I want to get myself fit for the season. I'm just going to do a fuck ton of running. It is the road to disaster. You want to be only increasing volume by maybe 10-15% max over the week. And like I mentioned before, if you've got a coach that does like doing a lot of running, because that's what pre-season is about, it's increasing the capacity. So when it comes to being in the season, you're used to those demands. Therefore, you'll have a good and successful season. So if you've got someone who's doing a lot of running within your sessions, adding a load of running on your own sessions off the back of all that could unfortunately lead to things like tendon errors, shin splints, all that kind of fun stuff that you don't want to have throughout the season. So what I would suggest is, like I mentioned before in tip 1, keep them gym sessions in, but slowly start adding the running in. Maybe let yourself have a week or 2, see what your training sessions are like before you start adding some stuff off on your own. Tip number 4 is within your gym sessions, make sure that you're still focusing on things like speed and power, making sure you're able to keep those numbers up as well. Obviously, sports, team sports, football, rugby, you're explosive, you're strong as well. Also rugby and football. But what you want to make sure is, the reason why I like to keep speed and power work within my session as well is because usually when you're tired, these are the first things that start to go. So you can use these as a little bit of a readiness. You can use these to make sure that you are in still tip-top shape, and obviously you're not fatiguing massively under the load of training. But also as well, that you're not losing all that speed work that you did over the off-season. You've been probably training to making sure that you come back to the season faster, more powerful, more explosive. What you don't want to do is, just because you're adding a load of volume into there as well, you don't want to be obviously losing that stimulus. And also as well, if it comes to losing stimulus, speed and power are usually the first things that tend to go. So make sure you're keeping those in. 1 or 2 exposures throughout the week, short bouts of it can go a very long way. So make sure that you've got those type of speed and power work. If you're a fan of Olympic lifting, fantastic. Those kind of gets in there. Make sure you're getting some form of sprinting, whether that's short acceleration work, some field-based work as well. But if you haven't got those equipments, or you don't like to do the on-field stuff, which you ideally should, these can be in the form of plyometrics, intensive plyometrics, depth jumps, vertical jumps, broad jumps, single hops, to make sure that you are moving quick. And even in your strength training as well, making sure you're doing things explosively as well. So making sure you're moving quickly through the concentric portion of the lift. So if that's the squat, that's the upward part. So yeah, there's a few things for you. And then tip number 5 is, guys, prioritize your recovery. This should be the main thing, really. Obviously, like I said, we want to be pushing a lot more volume when it comes to preseason, making sure that you guys are capable and have the capacity for the season ahead. But if you're still eating like shit, if you're not sleeping very great, if you're still going out over the weekends, if you're still smoking highlights and all these fun stuff, then you're going to have a horrible time going into the preseason, and you're not going to have the good time when it comes to being in the in-season. So make sure that you're doing the basics very well. Make sure you're getting plenty of carbohydrates in, making sure you're getting plenty of protein and fats, making sure you're staying very hydrated. Dehydration is a massive killer when it comes to performance, so don't let that happen. Make sure you're staying on top of stress levels as well. And obviously as well, most importantly, making sure you're getting a good amount of quality sleep in there as well. If you do those, 80% of recovery stuff, it's pretty much ticked off. And then from there, you can look into the other 20%, whether that's stretches, massages, foam rolling, all that other stuff. So yeah, that's it there, guys. There's 5 tips I can give you when it comes to the preseason. Preseason is, like I said, is a great opportunity, like all of the seasons, to make sure that you are prepared for the season ahead. I wish you guys all the very best when it comes to being preseason, because it's tough. It should be. I know that it's going to be a tough preseason for me. I'm generally quite actually looking forward to this, because hopefully, fingers crossed, I can have a season where I can stay quite fit throughout and not have any injuries. But we'll see. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for listening to this episode of the podcast. I'll see you all in the next one.